This is YouTube Joseph WM. Discussioncast movie, and yes, let's begin. I'm your host, YouTube Joseph WM.
And I'm James.
Okay, so today we're talking about the history there. This won't be a single video or podcast, single episode. It'll probably be two, three or four episodes. We're going to start at the very beginning. Over 4.6 billion years ago, in soaring around the Milky Way galaxy, there was a nebula that got hit by a supernova, and it started to form new stars. One of which would become our sun. Started as a clump, then a protostar, then a cloud of gas, then a disk, then a clump, then a protostar, then at the center of the disk, and then the planets started to come together. First, grains of ice and pieces of ice and dust and gas. First, they became bigger rocks and pieces of ice. They became rocks, pieces of ice, and bigger rock. And bigger rocks. Hold on a minute. Dylan said it can't work. Anyway, they became bigger rocks, and bigger from rocks to pieces of ice, bigger rocks, pieces of ice, then bulldozers, then planetesimals. You know what those are?
I think they're, those are, celestial bodies that hardly have any noticeable gravitational effect.
They're like asteroids. They're the building blocks of planets. They became protoplanets. There were thousands of protoplanets. And then also there was eventually about 100 fully fledged planets. Only eight that we know that survived to the present day. Our Earth was younger than one of them. It was born 4,540,000,000 years ago. From then to about 4.1 billion years ago, from 4,031,000,000 years ago. From 540,000,000 to 4 billion. From 4,540,000,000 to 4,031,000,000 years ago is the Hadean. There was no life on Earth yet. It was a hell. It was basically a hellish place. There was within like 10 to 20 million years after the Earth formed, due to it getting bigger, it's shrinking but more massive, the proto-Earth became a giant ball of lava, ocean of those lava. The heavier elements like iron, nickel, magnesium sank to the center, and while the lighter elements like carbon and oxygen and hydrogen floated to the top, creating a solid inner core and a liquid outer core. The liquid outer core then created the magnetic field and magnetosphere, which protects Earth and all life on it, including us from harmful solar particles and other radiation from space. And about when the Earth was like 40 or 50 million years old, about 4.5 billion years ago, a planet the size of Mars hit the Earth. Did you know this?
I think that planet was called Theia.
Yeah. Do you only know it from me? Anyway, now. What?
What did you say?
Do you only know about the giant impact hypothesis from me? The formation of the moon, I mean?
I think it was Scientific American.
Also, it hit Earth through annihilated Faye and much of Earth through ring of debris, which coalesced into. They might. Did you know what you might not know is there might have been not one but two moons when the planet first formed. Or possibly three. And the near side of the moon and far side could have been separate worlds, and they collided eventually to form one moon we see today. Did you know that?
I don't think so.
And then, then the moon and Earth cooled as the moon and Earth cooled. Just as the hydrogen oxygen molecules were escaping from volcanoes. Volcanoes started forming an atmosphere. Started changing the atmosphere. I mean, they formed a new atmosphere. Earth's original atmosphere, I'm not sure, 100% sure, it was probably destroyed during the during the giant impact that formed the moon. And then also, as the new atmosphere formed, just as it started to rain, forming first puddles and ponds and lakes and rivers, streams, creeks, bays, even seas, and eventually the first ocean, till the Earth was a water world, completely covered in ocean. Just as that was happening, back out in the solar system, Neptune and Uranus switched places. The order of the planets was originally Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, then Uranus. They switched places. So Saturn went further out, Jupiter went further in. All them mixing up. The planets moving around caused the late heavy bombardment. It was an early heavy bombardment that's been. I'm not sure how much, but the late heavy bombardment lasted. We're right. I mean, so far the Earth forming oceans was 4.3 or 4.4 billion years ago. Late heavy bombardment lasted. I'm not sure. I think about 200 million years, from 4.4 billion. From 4 billion, around 4 billion to 3.8 billion years ago. And once it ended, they didn't bring the right water to Earth. It's not the right match according to research from existing asteroids and comets. They brought the asteroids, comets, planetesimals, they brought metals and even organic molecules and compounds, things like amino acids, proteins, lipids, DNA, nucleic acids, nucleotides. You get the picture. And then also they once it ended, life could have survived the late heavy. Life existed at least 4.2 billion years ago. The first life might have arisen independently earlier in the history of the planet today. I'm not sure, but regardless, it could have survived in the deep ocean. It could survive the late heavy environment. Then after that it emerged. Most for the next 2 billion years, the earliest microbes. By the way, we're now in the Archean, about 4 billion, 31 million years ago, 2.5 billion years ago. At this time, the first microbes emerged. The first life definitely appeared. They split. They were, but they lived very deep in the ocean. And for the first half of the history of life on Earth, there was no oxygen. Oxygen would have been poison. These were anaerobic organisms living in deep sea hydrothermal vents. By this point, cratons, which were protocontinent, and then fully cratons and protocontinents in the first came together to form Canarland, which was around 3.7. I'm not sure how long it existed. And we'll talk about we'll talk about talk about the saga of the supercontinent drift in a future podcast. Anyway, so the Archean eon was from about 4 billion to 2.5 billion years ago. The age of microbe, bacteria, and archaea. They begin diversifying. There's no the continents. There was no life on land. And only microbes in the sea. The moon was much closer. Around this time, the day was like anywhere from I would say about 10 to 13 hours long, 10 to 12 hours long, because the Earth was spinning faster. The moon was much closer. And then also we're not done yet. Then about 2.7 billion years ago, the Earth, 2.9 to 2.7 billion years ago, the Earth experienced its first ice age. The whole planet froze. I forget what it's called. It was a snowball Earth. Do you know about snowball Earths?
I think they're kind of exoplanets.
No, I mean it's a type of ice age that happens when the entire planet is covered in ice. Sheet poles to the equator from that lasting millions of years. And then also, I'm not sure if this was a snowball Earth or just a minor ice age. And then also, 2.5 billion years ago is when the Archean, and it gave way to the Proterozoic from 2.5 to 539.9 million years ago. Here's where things start to get interesting. There's a period called the Born Billion, which was called that because nothing much was happening. Lasted 1.8 billion to 1.7 billion to 800 or 700 million years ago. For that, right at the start of the Archean, the cyanobacteria appear. And you know those microbes?
Why are cyanobacteria called that?
I don't know. I know they're commonly known as blue-green algae, but they started to pump out towards in the late Archean, and they started to pump out oxygen, which was poisonous to have killed almost all the other early life on Earth, all the other microbes. And then also until eventually until it started by this point the Earth, back in the Archean, the Earth's oceans were reddish, and oceans and atmosphere were reddish, and they've gone from reddish to yellow to purple, even to green during the Archean. Now they're starting to turn and then by the end of the Archean, the oceans and atmosphere finally turned blue. And then also the first and then also the Archean, they caused the Great Oxygenation, also known as the Oxygen Catastrophe. Like I said, it was the biggest. It was a mass extinction, special one that killed all the previous it killed all the a lot of the anaerobic microbes, and it also started to suck. There was a lot of carbon dioxide in the air, which kept the planet warm, even though the sun was much dimmer. It was much less luminous at this time, and then it started to suck the air out. Suck the sucked the carbon dioxide out of the sun and pumped oxygen. The cyanobacteria, just like modern plants do today. It kept sucking so much carbon dioxide until the planet cooled and ice formed at the poles, which do you know what that which ice formed at the poles, which was reflected more sunlight, which cooled the planet even more, which caused more ice to form, and so on until the first snow of the Earth, known as the Huronian glaciation, happened. And that, which lasted, I think, from 2.4 from 2.5 billion to 2.4 billion to 2.1 billion years ago, a 300 million year long ice age. And also from here I'll need to pause for a moment to do research. I'm looking up when plants first appeared. Well, let me look at. Hold on. Let me time out a minute. Let's take a pause and let me look it up on my phone. By this time, by 2.1 billion years ago, what we do know is that the first cells, the first microbes, single cell microbes with organelles known as eukaryotes appeared. And then hold on. Let me look. And then also I'm looking when. For sure. Hold on. You still with me, James? Still with me? James.
No.
Yeah, I'm looking something up. Take the first plants out. First plants appeared in the Mesoproterozoic. So let's say about around 1.4 billion years ago. By this time, several supercontinents have come and gone. The land that's a whole other topic for another time. Like I said, first plants appeared about 1.4 billion years ago. They were algae. The first seaweed and stuff like that. And they were. The first seaweed, first algae, and which is seaweed, basically the first plants appeared then. And then also, let's continue. So I think so the first animals appeared around 750 million years ago, and they were sponges. The only animals that are, the first animals to diverge from, to break off the animal family tree were sponges. Then the Earth so basically before going further, the Proterozoic, the Archean has 4 eons. I'm not going to go for the dates. The Eoarchean, the Paleoarchean, Mesoarchean, Neoarchean. The Proterozoic has 3 and Paleoproterozoic, Mesoproterozoic, Neoproterozoic. Paleo-Mesoproterozoic was dominated by protists, I believe, and the Neoproterozoic was dominated by the first period. The Tenorian was Tenorian. Oh no, sure if I pronounced it right, was dominated by you don't know any dominated by, hold on a minute, by still Protus and the Cryogenian sponges, then which is when there were two snowball Earths again, a few minor ice ages, and there was forgot to mention that Rodinia also came together around 1.1 billion years ago and broke up 750 million years ago. That was another supercontinent. I'm not going into that much detail about supercontinent. It's then by and like this Cryogenian lasted from 750 to 635 million years ago. The Ediacaran from 635 to 539.9 million years ago. I'm not sure of the exact date. So anyway, and then the last thing we're going to talk about in this episode is the Ediacaran. So basically, do you know any of these three periods, the Tenoran, the Ediacaran, and the Tenoran, Cryogenian, Ediacaran, in the Neoproterozoic era, and the Proterozoic? Do you? I don't expect you to.
Not really.
Do you know all the periods in the Phanerozoic? Which is the we're in now. 6 in the Paleozoic, 3 in the Mesozoic, and 3 in the Cenozoic. Do you know all of them?
Not at all.
Not even our period or the age of the one in the age of dinosaurs and reptiles.
Maybe not.
All right. So anyway, you'll get to. If you don't remember from the Virgil one. Anyway, so the Ediacaran was dominated by jellyfish, worms, Rhizozoa, I'm not sure, Rangiomorphs, and and I forget the name that's found. That included Rangiomorphs. Not sure if they're animals. And now I'm not sure. And then in this extinct found, I forget what it was called, but included Spergenia and Decatsodia, which were flat-bodied animals. There's no physical remains. We only know about them from trace fossils, which are impressions in the rocks. There was also Cambrella, which was a jellyfish, and there's Icarices, a worm. There was a Acaries, another worm, or something like that. I'm not really sure. But, so basically, our ancestors at this time were worms. That's a topic for another future podcast. The human evolution, all the way from first single cells to today. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it. And anyway, this is where we'll leave it at for today. So far I'll review it in the next one. Alright, thank you for watching, everyone. Be sure to like, comment, you stay for a minute, please. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.